Listen, I've been around a lot of boutique guitars. I've been around a lot of builders. There's no universe where these guitars do not go out into the world and do incredible things. In 2020, I started talking to a very young, aspirational guitar builder from the Netherlands. His name is Rasmus, and we just started connecting over Instagram and talking about cool guitars and what he should build, and he was asking me questions because he had built a Dreadnought out of Paduk, and I went all in. I sent a couple €1,000 to a teenager to build me a guitar. It took a 2-year process, and it is finally here. Now, believe it or not, I don't buy that many guitars for myself, but every now and then I get to buy a guitar for myself. Now, let's talk about this guitar. This is my Zandvliet 00018. It is unbelievably cool and specky, and I want to tell you every beautiful detail. But first, let me just give you the general process of how this guitar came to exist. Rasmus started asking me questions about how to build guitars, and I would just point him to general things that I knew. I am not a luthier. I hold high reverence for that phrase, and I will not bring dishonor to that name by saying that I am a luthier. But as I coached Rasmus through building his first guitar, he started asking me along the way, hey, what would your dream guitar be? And I knew from the jump what kind of guitar I'm into. Now, this guitar has to be a slot headstock, has to be a 12th fret, has to have a pyramid bridge, has to have mahogany back and sides, has to have a cool Sitka spruce top or a cool spruce top, and it needs to have some kind of cool inlay that just separates it. Like, this is not anyone else's guitar, this is just my guitar. Over the next couple years, Rasmus was slowly starting to build this guitar, and he asked me at one point, hey, would you want to own one of these guitars? Because I would really like to make one. And this guitar was meant to replace a guitar that I had to sell in the midst of one of these moments that I know if you're self-employed, you've been in this moment. You see your checking account, you see the needs of your family, and you look at the guitars hanging on the wall, and you realize, and what I realized was, Waterloos have doubled in value since I bought my WLS. This is me in like 21 or 22. So this guitar from Rasmus came about in the same time that I decided that it was time for me to sell my Waterloo. So in a lot of ways, I wanted to take some strong design features that I really loved about that guitar. The Waterloo WLS is a Stella style guitar, which is a very affordable guitar made in the 1930s, 1940s in America. They were typically ladder braced, and they were short scale, they were slot headstocks, they were 12 frets. Felt like home. I loved that guitar. While it still sounded great and I had no issues with the size or the tone or the projection, I still wanted a little bigger guitar. So with this one, we ended up doing a 00018. This is a 1930s spec. And so with all that said, let me read you the specs that Rasmus gave me on this guitar. European Alpine spruce top. Genuine mahogany, back and sides. 1860s European spruce for the top bracing. Sapelli neck. Indian rosewood head plate, binding, backstrip, and tail inlay. Indian rosewood rosette for the outer two rings. A dyed maple rosette in the middle. Striped ebony for the fingerboard. 1930 style ebony pyramid bridge. Waverly ebony unslotted bridge pins. I think that's a pretty crucial part of like that really grounded tone that these guitars have. Mammoth ivory for the sheep inlay on the headstock. Mammoth ivory for the nut and the saddle. Mammoth ivory dot inlays on the fingerboard. There's a 5mm, a 4mm, and a 3mm. This is one of the coolest design features. They just get slowly smaller as they go down the fretboard. There's a hand-rubbed sunburst finish. Now, this is, I know, one of the biggest challenges for Rasmus, and he absolutely just nailed it. It has a very thick, rounded V-neck. It is a very, very big neck. I asked for it. I got it. And then there is a dual-action truss rod. I am unbelievably astounded by this guitar. And I know I am one for high praise, and I've said things like dream guitar, I've said things like lifer guitar. But this is a remarkable, unbelievable guitar, paired with the fact that this is Rasmus's second guitar. Listen, I've been around a lot of boutique guitars. I've been around a lot of builders. I know no one else in the whole world making guitars as intuitive and talented as Rasmus. Now, with that said, this is not a perfect guitar. Now remember, I threw such a gauntlet down for Rasmus. Number one, the top finish is particularly difficult. It is not a super even finish, but I personally really love it. It looks like an oil painting. It's very, very beautiful to me. I think that it's a real mistake to expect perfection. I think you should aim for perfect and fall short into excellent, and that is absolutely what has happened here. But there's something amazing about owning serial number 2, because if you remember, I own another guitar that is made by a guitar builder who is changing the world. The genius behind Gallagher guitars is Ben Padgett. Ben Padgett made that one over there in the corner. That is a Padgett Model 1. That is also serial number 2. This is my Rasmus, my Zandvliet guitar. Please check out Rasmus. Check out him on Instagram. If you want, you can order a guitar from him. I don't want to flood him with orders, so I'm only going to say that once or twice. I think that's the second time I've said it. There's no universe where these guitars do not go out into the world and do incredible things. Thanks to Rasmus for building this. You are the man. We're better together. Thanks for watching. See you later. Thanks for all your support. Last thing, check out Patreon and become a channel member if you want to support the work of Guitar Hunter. Thanks. See you later. Bye.